Çekilişleri de oluyor bu arada. Min çekilişleri oluyor. White çekilişleri oluyor. Tabi.
Abi.
Attım hemen. Attım. Follow'a attım. Follow'um.
Başladı maç. Maçız. Hadi bakalım Ascent.
Maçız.
Kürünün map'i Ascent. Bakalım ne yapacak.
Hadi Gambit yem de şunu sana sal oldu.
You never know. Well, as we come into this one,
Gambit
map number
ne olur.
2.
Oğlum Gambit Point'ta da iyi ki ya. Nice.
Bu peki Gambit'in takımının niye herhangi bir şekilde entry'leri yok bunların kankam?
Gambit'in mi?
Evet.
Harbiden what is this con?
Harbiden lan.
Yüksek ihtimal defans başlıkları için böyle bir tercihte bulundu.
Gambit Ascent'te genelde böyle oynuyor kanka.
Ha şey mi? Alabildiğimiz kadar round
Benim
olarak.
bildiğim böyle geçen turnuvada böyleydi sanki.
Hayır, böyle değildi Burak.
Değil lan sanki.
Hayır değil de.
Bakarım.
Bence
Sky
burada
entry.
Depojet oğlum burada.
Jet veya Reyna oynanmalı ya. Burada. Bilmiyorum bakalım nasıl oynayacak.
Sky oynar da yani şu an Nugget'in yaptığını yapamaz. Like so brother. Like so.
Bitti bile round.
Bitti bile round.
Yeah, it's going to have to be the 1v4, and he's already been spotted on his way through heaven. I'll be ready to face him together. Nags down below, waiting for contact with his teammates, and they'll just triple peek into this. Little shock dart to push him back.
Chronicle'dan mı korkuyoruz lan? Çıkın vurun şunu.
HP on some of these players, but it's going to be hard to find that value. Going to connect those headshots almost instantly. It will not happen this time around. Cruz starting off with a pistol round.
Gambit bir gün tabanca kazanacak ya. Hissediyorum bunu.
Az önce kazandılar oğlum. Az önceki map'te.
Ink Viva 35. ayın kutlu olsun. Çok teşekkürler.
Aa doğru şeyde Breeze'de kazandılar değil mi Rauf abi?
Evet 8-4'ten vermediler pistol.
Biz bu Frag Movie yarışmasının son günü ne demiştik?
O bitti galiba o Frag Movie.
Bitti mi? Son günü.
Bitmiş olması lazım.
12'si abi. Tamam. Yarın o zaman o Frag Movie'lere bakalım.
Ferit bir şey yapısına bakabilir misin abi?
Bakıyorum.
Tamam. Defo's ready to take this duel around the corner. They've already tapped the orb. He wants to hear the second tap. He wants to hear them making some... Oh, in fact, they took it completely. I thought the flash would have come around the corner by then. This is a strange stack out of Gambit to not execute after they've heard the noise, but that'll almost bait Crew in to committing to this. As time goes on, eventually someone's got to take a step forward. But in fact, they go backwards. Crew give up this control, pick up the spike, and start to move towards this B side.
Ne yapacaksınız lan çocuğa?
Bir şeyler dönecek burada. Yo dönüyorlar.
Daha orada kaldı şey. Eznit. Eznit. Aha. Aha.
Nereye kaçacaksın?
Gene aldı bir şey kanka.
Herif ölmeden aldı.
Realistically, I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make here. Yeah, I mean, that was a plan. If anything, they knew Kesnet was probably going to die. He went aggressive, he made the noise. The whole idea behind that being like, they had a suspicion something was wrong. Something was freaky on the A site. So eventually, they rotate around, Kesnet makes the noise, and they go, okay, yeah, it is a stack here. B should be free. Walk in, take the kill with the shock dart. Still comes down to a 3v2, though, and this is where they really can't afford to lose any more players. They're going to clean it up fairly easily. And as we sort of say, as long as it's anything more than 2 and you start to worry, you start to pay attention, especially for Gambit, that they managed to do that much damage. But 2 kills on the whole,
hakikaten böyle kaybedeceklerini düşünüyorum oyunu.
It's more just going to make it interesting of how much they actually invest into this next round. Like, what are they going to bring through? Is it an extra rifle maybe onto someone like Kesnet, who of course, even without armor, if he manages to get himself a kill, can just overheal.
Gambit mi alır diyorsun map'i de?
Or is he just going to take that risk
Yok
anyway
ben kaybedeceklerini düşünüyorum burada.
Bence de sanki 3. map'e gideceğiz gibi. Ama bakalım belli olmaz Gambit bu. Bonus round bir BRH göreceğiz galiba. Helal oğlum Şeydos. Helal lan sana Şeydos. İşte bu ya. Şeydos eğim diyorum sana kanka. Tertemiz. Tertemiz.
Flawless.
That prime gaming flawless, their economy starts to stack on up.
Şu atakta alan şöyle 5 round falan alalım en kötü ya. Şöyle hadi oğlum.
Hadi beni yalnız çıkarın ya. Alın Çok güzel snap atmış lan. Aha bu çok ilginç oturan bu çocuktu değil mi?
Redgar. Hadi oğlum bu round da tertemiz. Kritik round.
Man, every time I turn around and just look at Redgar, his posture scares me.
Aa. Sunucu da aynısını dedi kanka.
Aynen. Oturuşuna değil mi?
It's like, man, his chiropractor's making bang.
Chiropraktik.
Every event, he's probably gotta go. This is aggressive. This is very aggressive, Shados.
Lan ne oluyor
Pushing all the way
Shadows?
deep, but they can just take control of this. This is one of the main benefits of having that Sage, is you can just lock off parts of the map. For now, though, Crew, slow and methodical. They've got a lot of map control. They managed to push their way up short, but there's still so much information here for Gambit because of the fact that they've moved up to having a couple of initiators, and then they have the Cypher Cam of Nats as well, just spotting if anybody does make a move up short. So it may seem like, oh wow, Gambit are really passive here. They know a lot more than you think.
Take olacak gibi. Nets bir kill alman lazım Nets.
Nets çözer ya. Trapleriyle bence bir tane.
Ya Redgar. Abi.
Beef geldi.
Helal Defo.
Gördü.
Defo bir kill'in daha var ya.
Bassana onu Defo.
Çok zor. Çok zor. Bak Killjoy'ları da yok, anlamadım ki yani nasıl bir komp bu ya.
The after plant positions are looking strong from Crew. There is a lot of work for Gambit still to do.
Nice lan. Nice. Oğlum helal lan. Main kaldı.
Biliyorsunuz.
Biliyorlar, duydular. Aa
Babacım ne yapıyorsun?
Nice lan Mocino. Helal lan sana.
Adam unexpected peek attı kanka. Gollardı aynen.
Like you expect to have a moment when a player taps the spike and then you peek.
Ya
He
Redgar'ın
peeked
ölüşe
as
bak
they
amına
tapped it, so
koyayım.
nobody was ready and watching to get those final kills. He timed this to literal perfection.
Baksana Defo'nun bayağı
While it's
arkası dönük
fumbled a
oldu.
little bit by Gambit, it's going to give themselves an extra round in the lead. And now I'm interested to see the finances, because we spoke about the fact that the last was a flawless round coming out of Gambit. They're not in a bad spot, but it's not great. I'm not surprised at all that we have a timeout. You know, when you have a communication hiccup like what I think just happened there, I hope that's what happened there, because we saw Defo, low HP, he went to defuse the spike. He was first man around the corner to be traded. He jumped towards the spike, but his teammate tapped it as well. Yeah. So Defo's facing away, trying to start the defuse. His teammate obviously tapped it just for a second to make the Q to get that player to peek, but the problem was, as you said, the timing was perfect. Mazzino peeked early, got around that corner, and double sprayed them down. The first player he takes down full HP with the headshot. Second is Defo, who's slow. So it's an easy spray transfer. That is a hiccup that you cannot allow to happen. Sure, it can happen to once, but call that timeout, level things out, get everybody reset, and come back in strong after this pause. Well, that's the other thing as well. We know exactly how this LATAM squad plays the second they get a clutch like that. It pumps them up. They're the loudest people. Even if, I bet if you go over back to that cam in Argentina, they're not quite as loud as the players we currently have on the stage right now. They're a crowd in themselves.
Whitehound 51 aydır. Gambit alır yayınlar. Andırı yaptım ya. Eyvallah, hoş geldin kardeşim.
They don't seem to get affected by these sort of moments. No, they really don't. A very headstrong team are Gambit, but Crew have shown to be just the same. This start.
Agroya bak, agroya bak.
He's in a lot of trouble. But somehow the utility is keeping them at bay. There's still another star of a buff for him to use. He has really planned this one out on the early aggression through A, but now they've seen no contact. They start to suspect that maybe Crew have rotated and started to look for control elsewhere after such a heavy stack.
Bir şeyler harcayarak girecekler tabii.
Evet.
Klaus'un ultisi var. Kim harcamadılar?
Kullanacaklar. Klaus'un ultisi var. Atıyor. At.
Ama acaba girecek mi?
Get out of my way kanka.
Zıplayıp.
Aha
Evet,
aha aha
zıplayıp
Astra.
double deneyecek.
Güzel Redgar, bravo oğlum. Olsun.
Ya Nagzet kardeşimsin ya.
Tamam vermezsin. Sık sık sık sık. Ya
Nice Celtic.
Giremezler.
Helal oğlum net.
Bu kadardı. Bu kadardı oğlum. Bu
40
kadar.
saniye. Dönerler ama.
Hiçbir şey bilmiyorlar.
Ama bir
bu
bok
çocuk
yapamam. Abi short short short
Geri
short.
döndün.
Short dikkat bak
Dediğim
herkes
orayı
geri
nasıl
döndü.
sızar? Aynen öyle. Aynen öyle. Aynen öyle.
Shadows bakıyor. Shadows bakıyor. Smoke'ları yok. Deşi yok. Bir tane
Yani
ayıklar.
Defo-
Ay o Shadows değil.
yapabilecek
Defo
ki?
pardon.
Defo bakıyor da.
Ya bir tane ayıkladı oradan. Bir tane ayıkladı. Rahat kesip.
Daha bakmıyor kanka.
Bakmıyor.
Timing
Niye
yedi.
bakmıyor?
Yo yo çünkü Chronicle'a güveniyor.
10 saniye.
Aynen. Gram sıkıntı yok. Bizde.
Bekliyorlar şeyi.
Chronicle'da heal yok mu? Defocuğum.
Şöyle alalım ya.
Alamaz hiçbir şey bilmiyorlar. Hadi. Kırın short'u. Girin.
Abi.
Nice.
kötü oldu.
Flash'ta yakalandı.
Nice.
16 HP ne abi?
Bir HP bir nice oğlum. Bu kadar.
Ent oğlum ent. Timing yedi ya Defo.
Defo elinde flash'la yakalandı ya. üzücü.
Bence dağılmamaları lazımdı ya. A'yı direkt saldılar. Biri mid'e gitti, biri B'ye gitti.
Yani zaten 3 kişi kalmışsın.
Kala da B'ye giderlerse retake atarsın. Veya ne bileyim 2 kişi A'da kalsın, biri mid'e baksın.
Next ta gitti B'ye amına koyayım ya.
Ya dönmesini duydu da yani. Çok obvious değil mi fake olduğu yani? Ha, o riski alacaklarına bence bekleseler daha mantıklı. Defo steplerini hepsini aldı, ondan yolladı.
Çıkacaklar.
İşte counter bekliyor.
Bence böyle bir maçta öyle bir info kullanılmaz ya Batu. Onlar da tam tersini düşünüyor.
This is something that the majority of top teams don't even do. How many times, Tom, do we see these pistols gain massive value because teams blindly run into map control and end up getting overwhelmed? But
Nice
time and
lan.
time
Oy,
again,
Red Bull
Crew are
koşarak
leading at
vurdu.
most one player, but actually hold on.
Güzel güzel güzel.
Gördüler nerede
Evet,
olduğunu.
evet. Çok güzel.
Site olduğunu biliyorlar. Chronicle geliyor. Chronicle onu indirebilir misin lan? Site'dakini. Abomba bizdeymiş. Hadi Chronicle.
Chronicle vuracak. Hadi oğlum Chronicle. Hadi oğlum Chronicle. Yapma yapma.
Ya. Ay çocuk çekildi ay.
Onları çekiyor.
Kaç lan şey dost? 20 can 20 can 20 can.
Tara.
Tarayın lan tarayın lan. Nice lan Chronicle aldılar eli.
Öyle oldu.
Helal oğlum
Klaus
size.
dilenme.
Helal.
Klaus dilenme.
Eko'ya düşecek bu arada. Kürü şu an.
10 seconds left.
Looks like if he keeps going, he'll get away with it, but he's about to take
Nice
a face into
oğlum.
Redgar, who now has a nice free upgrade
Nice.
for
Al
him
onun
down there on the
silahını da.
floor.
Çok
Hoş
güzel.
gelecek 4. renkli
Not
olsun.
the round that I
Ektor
was
12 aydır,
expecting.
Furkan son 4 aydır.
Just by how I opened it up.
Revinit
Complimented
15 aydır.
inability
Pink
to
Vivo
lose to
35
Ecos
aydır.
and,
Fake
well,
Heaven 13
they
aydır.
have
Hoş
lost
geldiniz.
to an Eco.
These were some tasty shots though coming out of the Sheriff. Like I think
Oğlum
dodging the
herif
flash there
Minecraft gibi
gives
görüyor
enough
oyunu
just
lan.
for the
Nasıl oynuyor
kill.
böyle?
They reclaim the rifles, they use the res and
CS'den
I think
alışkınlar
the way
kanka.
that we're seeing these aggressive pushes
Onu doğru
together
gerçi.
from Gambit is something that I don't think many teams could do as well. Like the timing of all of that utility and just look what it does. That was the one round where Gambit really didn't invest anything. It was just a few pieces of utility and some sheriffs. Now you look at what the other team have. Well, it's exactly that.
It's the ability to do damage in a lot of those earlier rounds. Oh, that flash is so good! Redgar has conditioned them. He's put those smokes down again and again. This time, he fakes it. He recalls the star, swings on a flash, and gets the kill. Great tag out of Chronicle, even without an Odin. That's an easy wall bang. And a 5 versus 3 emerges.
5'e
Crew
3.
come into this round with heavy
Bu elle
weaponry,
gitti.
but
4
I hope
oldu.
that Keznet's able to do something with that Guardian they invested.
Son round'u aldılar 4-4. Bir daha ekolar 5-4.
Last man alive.
Hadi oğlum.
One enemy remaining.
Nice.
Çiziksiz.
Aman abi. Rauf abi.
Yo round içinde oluyor. Round bitince söyledim fark etsin.
Evet.
Carried through from their eco round that they picked up off the corpses of their enemies. Then they come into this with a flawless. That has turned the game on its head completely. The early narrative swinging massively in favor of Crew. They were looking clean.
Batu senin çözünürlük ne şu an?
That we see from teams and now they have fallen into a pit of
Batu
despair. Just
1024
one
oynuyor
round
galiba.
in the lead. That's all they have to show.
Aa 1920 oynuyorum lan.
Thanks to that eco
Helal lan
round
sana
again.
Batu. 1920 Master tier ya. 4-3'lük bir durum yok. Aynen öyle amına koyayım
Aynen
ya.
öyle.
Hiçbir şey değiştirmiyor. Boşuna tribe giriyorlar.
Ya Keznit.
has ended up being a little bit of a burden.
5v4.
Oy.
Nice close.
Bring it back into a 4v4 scenario, and you can see instantly, Crew just slow it down.
They absolutely do.
Ya FPS tabii ki artıyor oğlum.
Redgar.
Pozisyon oyuncular için diyorum.
Haven't spotted Redgar crossover.
O Redgar'ı tahmin et.
Redgar bir kilim var.
Hiçbir şeyin yok.
Öldü.
Kaç lan?
Yazdım Defo 2.
Bu bir. Ah, çok kötü snapledi ya. Nets hadi la hadi la hadi nerede Masters'taki Nets ya?
Yo round lose. Çünkü ultiler var.
They've also got one or two more to spare. The Cosmic Divide, I don't know if it'll be utilized here. I'm a little bit worried though that Delzik is incredibly low on HP. A well-placed spam could be enough to end him, but there needs to be something and fast from the side of Gambit as they look to try and encroach on the space of their enemies again. Crew in these afterparts of Stella. And for the side of Shados,
aldıkları el gitti kanka ya. Of.
Redgar niye öyle bir hareket yaptı ki?
Yani nereden gördüler Redgar'ı tahmin ettiler değil mi?
Yo
Ya da
ateş
o
et.
mu gösterdi?
Ateş etmesini görmemişler. Winer'de otursaydı. Adam Winer'ye hiçbir şey atmadı bile.
yeah, I don't think the finances of Gambit are in a bad spot.
Eleme
but it's still
11.
just
en
one of
kutlu
those
olsun.
things that just like, why?
Maybe we're missing something there, but I don't see the
Simon
value.
Say 12. en kutlu olsun abim.
I think
Hoş
maybe he
geldin.
realized how good their economy actually is. Remember, they win themselves a round of just
And how poor
pistols.
their opponents were.
Yeah, so I think it was an attempt to do damage, but I don't think he meant to die.
Yeah,
Like I think it was he wanted to take a fight versus someone and then bring something into the next round. As said,
Neden
you
öldü
can see
patlamaya? Bence
they're fine for this
o
round.
da
And now we
beklemiyordu
actually
ölmeyi.
get Defos
Ölmek
onto
istemedi
the
yani.
operator, which normally is a hugely impactful player on this weapon. He can't escape as easily.
Chronicle almış Odin'i ya.
Operator, man. We get the Odin from Chronicle. Let's go, baby. Early spams.
Tamam lan nereden yedim ben?
Aferin lan Defo.
Yeah, all right, okay.
Nice
Orada
lan.
dünyanın beyitini attı. Helal lan.
Çok iyi, çok iyi, çok iyi. Çok iyi oyun ha o ikili oyun. Sevdim. Tamam bunu yapıyoruz o ikili oyunu.
Hallettik.
Nice oğlum Defo.
Nice
Surprised that Kesnet tries to throw at them.
Shadows
It's just
yapma.
being watched for. A well-constructed round by Gambit, knowing exactly where the holes in their defense currently are, and only two players remaining. It's not far away. Mitch getting a little bit too excited.
Az vurmuş.
Bir tane atar bu arada. Bir
Siz de
tane.
ağzına bakın dersin.
Well, yeah, he should stand a chance at this point, but he still survives.
Oh, he's still standing. I mean, lucky man. Not many players stand on the other side of a wall from Chronicle with an Odin, get revealed and walk away to tell the tale, but it's only a matter of time, and eventually
Defo.
he'll be taken down. That Odin
Temiz.
coming up big in this round. I have to say though, this is
30 seconds
okay. Let's give Mazzino a moment. 30 seconds. 1 versus 4, 70 HP, and 2 kills to his name.
He's on at the moment.
Yeah, but the time's going to be a real issue. He's sprinting to the A
Götürüyor
side,
A'ya.
and there's no resistance there. Gambit are going to group up and try to retake this together. Now, a lot of problems for them.
Galiba izin
Zeno,
verecekler.
rather.
Aynen.
The
öyle.
Recon's back online now. It just came back. That's going to give them the Odin wallbang ability. And with 70 HP, that is actually very, very dangerous. Typically, that Recon's going to go towards lower, and they've even spotted him now. They know exactly where he is, and they're
Nice
just
oğlum.
finishing him off after the flash. Well played by Gambit on the retake, sticking together. It's what we want to see.
Lunari 10. en kutlu olsun. Her map'te mutlaka alınması
Still,
gereken
in a 1
gereken
versus
karakter.
5, like okay,
Böyle bir şey yok abi. Maplere göre farklılıklar gösteriyor.
he actually baited out Seekers. So they use an ultimate just to kill him off at the end. So, as said, like, the 2 kills are not really going to affect Gambit too much. Their finances are still in a very good spot. But, hey, having to use an ultimate and just to make sure they close out the round,
Ama Sova diyebilirim en çok split hariç. Ama doğru Astra lan.
Like the fact that, again,
Astra her map'te gidiyor.
to an agent we haven't seen for quite a while. And it's not just like we've seen with other players where he's just still fragging on the agent.
Ama tabii takımların kompuna göre değişiklik gösteriyor. Mesela Bind'da Ascent Brimstone tercih ediyor. Çünkü ona göre oyun kurmuşlar. Ne oluyor ya? Ah lan! Nice oğlum Defo. Var lan bir kill'in daha var Defo. Nice lan sana.
Helal oğlum. Chronicle'a bak.
Chronicle komando gibi geziyor.
Oğlum bitiyor lan, ulti bitiyor lan. Chronicle ne yaptın?
Yo o biten o değil.
Ha. Main'e bakmadılar. Nice Ness. Son adam. Lan Ness kalmış sadece amına koyayım. Onu şeyden vurdum.
Çok zor ya.
Alır ha Ness.
Ya.
Evet,
Yok
evet,
ya
ben
Ness'in
hala
şey
Yeah, a messy round. Like it's
Eski
always
hali yok.
gonna be when there's a couple of cosmic divides and players get lost within them.
Oğlum Ness
Again,
geçirtmiyordu
Defo
lan
does well,
son
but it's just the
atak
quick
geçirtmiyordu ya
trades
atağı.
and the fact that they use their
Savunmada.
utility well. Having that Hunter's Fury in there as well. This it's just
Arkadaşım.
a little bit bigger than
Lan.
maybe he thought it would
Ben
be.
bunu
Just killing
görmemiştim.
off. Rega
Kanka.
basically just ends the round. It was left
And you
onto
know,
Nats to try and clutch it.
He had to move there. He
Ben
had
hala
to
köründe
swap to the
olacağını
other side
düşünüyorum
of the
ya bu
cosmic
maçın.
Şezi
divide because
14.
his
en
teammates
kutlu
were
olsun.
now on the other side. A few Hunter's Fury out in the open like that, especially after they'd already spotted Nags on top of the boxes at the bottom of the stairs, he's just going to get killed. So he had to move to the left. It is just a severely unlucky situation. Oh, you are horrible people. They have
Defo vurun.
rolled
Abi
themselves up
gözüktü.
to get that angle, but luckily it was spotted immediately by the drone.
Yeah, somebody's been watching some grim clips here and there. Just stealing that one. I think I've definitely seen Ethan do that before as well, but expected, it seems. They managed to clear that fairly early on, and Crew now with 6 already on the board.
Nice
and this time they shut Defo down. As said, he's been one of the high-impact players thus far for Gambit. Getting him out of the round for Nags is huge. How do they respond? And again, we're just seeing this much slower, calculated
Sage mid'e döndü.
attempt
B
from
tek.
Crew
A2.
as they now wait back for any further aggression, and it is moving in their direction.
Well, you know what? They've just cleared out
Nets,
B main. That
Nets,
recon giving them
Nets.
complete control. Now it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Gambit are expecting the A hit. Look at where Nats is. This is not a great
O
position.
BT'ye o BT'ye
Onu
kesme.
vur, onu vur, onu vur, onu vur Nets, onu vur.
Biraz aşağı lan.
Ah lan, ah ikisine de gitse headshot ne olur amına koyayım.
Olay şu kesinti oluyor. Redgar'a niye olmuyor amına koyayım ya. Yanlışlıkla uyusa arkadakilerden.
Değil mi Rauf abi? Kürdekilerin hepsi atıyor.
Evet.
Volbank. Karbon, Volbank, osu, busu.
This one was far more
Kıyamam lan.
calculated than I think any of the
Oy,
other rounds
söyleyeyim
we've
bu
seen
kadar.
from Crew. Patient for any sort of aggression. The second that they get that opener, they instantly wait for the response. They know that somebody's going to try and find the trade. They know that there's going to be some more aggressive positioning from the side of Gambit, and they wait for it, they watch for it, and they get themselves the reward. A fantastic round from Crew, and now Gambit, they are into a position where, well, both the Operator and the Odin are fairly expensive, and now they have to try and fight for them.
Chronicle up close is a little bit of cover. They're going to be focused on Shados, and
Helal
that's
Chronicle.
one of the worst ways to die. Sprayed in close range
Düşürebildiğimiz kadar.
by the Odin, and they won't be able to hunt them down
Düşürüyoruz.
after allowing them to save over these final weapons. It will be 7-4 already. A
Gambit'i buraya
fantastic
getiren
round
kişi
out of
Nets'tir.
Crew, and
İstediği kadar kötü oynayabilir.
they're looking to push up to 8,
Nasıl
the
bir
same
mantık?
scoreline that we saw on
Don't
Breeze
say
that
it.
Mergen,
still slipped away.
teşekkür ederim
Don't
olsun
say
için.
it.
Gevur
I knew it was
teşekkürler.
coming.
Allah
Yeah,
02,
they are, again,
31
in the
aydır.
same spot. But
Ali Kones,
this is the
Ali
thing.
Quans,
Like, I feel like the way
12
that he
aydır
plays this
Şezi,
Reina is
14
incredibly
aydır
hit and miss.
Şez 0,
We've seen him
15
shut
aydır
down
hoş
instantly
geldiniz.
some
Çok
rounds, we've seen
teşekkürler.
him win him the next. But that's his role within the team. That's exactly what they expect from him. If he
Gambit'i
stops
buraya
playing
getiren koçudur
aggressively,
demiş
his
Batu'da.
value is just diminished almost instantly. So the fact that they're currently in the lead, it's been going incredibly well. Again, this slow, tempered pace coming out from Crew, just waiting for somebody to try and push them, especially with some of the rounds they've lost against weaker economy. It has been those A-site pushes, and you can see they're just watching for it this time.
Chronicles peeking out on the corner with this Odin, holding a lot of information. Obviously, they put their slow orb and their shock dart down at the very start just to stop any sort of B aggression, deal damage. If they can, keep delaying their utility.
Fır Faruk'a koptum ya, boşluğuma geldi.
Faruk ne ya? Sugar, teşekkür ederim onun Cenk kutlu olsun. Joker.
Gambit'i buraya getiren uçaktır, boş yapmayın yazmışlar.
That's why they drone B. See nobody there. Start the early rotation as Shados comes into A, and I think he's going to be here just in time for Crew's push.
They have got this read spot on. There are, I'd say that they start hesitating a little bit. Push coming through. Nax looking to try and find the open.
Neydi lan? Bir sağ klik attı amına
He
koyayım.
didn't have one of the major weapons, so this risk is worth it. Nats, he just got straight through.
Nats abi nasıl ölmez?
Tamam, nice. 55 güzel, 55 güzel, gayet güzel. İlk el döndü. İlk el döndü.
But it is still Crew going in with the lead at the half.
Bakalım adamı ne planlamış ya Gambit kadroyla.
Hadi bakalım, Burak Bey.
Bakalım
ne planlamışlar.
Ulan headshot'ı da atmış ha.
But coming into this pistol round in the next half, there's going to be a lot of weight on their shoulders. They don't want to allow Gambit to bounce back because they've seen what can happen when those halves swap over. Well, we're going to be heading off to the desk. It's a little bit closer this time, Sue. Where do you think this is going?
Well, luckily, Tom, what I think doesn't matter because what matters is what Ryan and Seth think. What do you make of that half, guys?
I mean,
Yinsu'nun outfitini bugün beğenmedim.
Considering that last round is the only round that we saw Nats
ikinci Enks
things right, being a real problem on the site, breaking down the execution, and Gambit looked good to begin with, but then we saw the typical Crew when it comes to those executes and how quickly they could trade out.
Yeah, it seems like it was a little bit of a soft start for Crew, but finally started finding the groove. We're able to rack up 7 rounds.
Ben de beğenmedim.
You know, it might not be the 8-4, which that might be a little bit of a curse for them, you know, if that was to happen again. But I was kind of hoping to see them have maybe like a 9-3 here on this half because they are so good at attacking. But if they can have, you know, even as close to a defense as they have on Breeze here on Ascent, then you know, there's not too much to worry about. I think swapping over to the defensive side
benim kankam ya.
will empower Klaus as well to have a little bit more stability.
Oh yeah, you guys are seeing some Mazino highlights here. You know,
he's been big.
Yeah, this tournament has also really brought out the Sovers. We were expecting the Jets,
Türkçe biliyor zaten
but the Sover players have been tremendous.
Yeah, especially with how much of a tricky time that
ya full anlamıyordur ama
he's finding his moments, and now
öğretiyoruz yavaş yavaş.
Defense, having that information is so important. That's the one thing about having this double duelist composition and Crew are running is that you are very reliant.
Chat'teki haddini bilmeyen orospu çocuklarına sesleniyorum. Arkadaşlar, Yinsu'nun bir erkek arkadaşı var. Bir kadınla bir erkek iletişime geçtiği anda o kanka ya böyle şekilden şekile abazalık yapmayın. Siktirin gidin, abazalığınızı gidin, porno mu izliyorsunuz, ne yapıyorsunuz amına koyayım, orada atın. Amına kodumun salakları. Şekilden şekile giriyorsunuz direkt ya. Onları da direkt permalayın abi, o tarz insanları. Chat'imde görmek istemiyorum. Amına kodumun yobazları ya.
Initial defenses that are going to be set up for Crew.
Well, 8 rounds wasn't quite enough for Crew on Breeze. They have to bring out something here too because a grand final spot is on the line. Back to you, Mitch and Tom.
Well, as you can see, we're about to jump back.
Hangi takım yenerse Eysen'in kazanması daha kolay olur bence Ferit.
Gambit on 5. It's been a
Ben Batu'nun yazdıklarına koyuyorum amına koyayım şu an.
Mafya Batu'cun zırhını amına koyup.
Bilgisayar başında gülüyordu yüksek mesela reç atarken ya.
The smoke and dash strategy that we normally see from a lot of teams on this map.
Deniyorum Bürge, deniyorum.
So commonly utilized. Now the shock dart has already managed to take out some of the utility. Now there will still be the turret there, but in fact
Nice oğlum Chronicle, nice oğlum. Güzel başlangıç.
Now bear in mind we saw this at the last half. Both teams winning the pistol on either side of the map. Is it going to be another attempt from Gambit?
Well, they'll certainly try it. That drone is so well timed. It hasn't. Oh, okay, it's turned around.
Hello.
All good. They've seen him.
Nice oğlum Redgar. 5v3. Ay 30 can. Bitti o ya, bitti. Öldürdü beni ya. Nice oğlum 2 kişi.
Helal oğlum Nets lan sana.
Tabii. Tertemiz B girişi.
Şimdi de 7-13. Hadi bakayım.
Oh, net de fullendi. Hadi Fezin bu eli al amına koyayım hadi. Hadi al bu eli amına koyayım. Kanka alamaz öyle bir şey yok amına koyayım.
Ya 55 canı var.
Dünya yok kanka.
Çok zor.
Oş.
Lan adam.
Yok bir şey olmaz ya.
Yok canım
Tamam bu
orada
kadar ya.
defoyu bilmez ha.
Yat lan aşağı.
Yeah, but normally Chronicle would have went out there, at least forced him to stop healing, but he was reloading, so eventually he just calls it quits.
7-6. Ekolar. Hop 7-7. Bonus aldılar. 8-7. Ekolar 9-7.
But it's not the end of the world. Look, they're gonna probably come in with this round win here, and then Crew will fight back on even footing.
Sonra direkt
This is
bitiyor mu
their
maç?
map pick, somewhere they can feel a
O
lot
kadar
more
abi.
comfortable.
Mental damage yediler ondan sonra.
Oynayışa bak. Böyle oynayış mı olur ya? Bu ne amına?
I think they played every map. I think that
Oğlum
even
oynayacaksın.
includes
Oğlum hakikaten nasıl çeviriyor lan mouse'u?
going into today. So there you go.
Certainly at this event.
Yeah, for sure. It might be
Ben kollarımı imkansız bu arada sandalyeye koyamam kanka.
Sandalye koluna mı?
Evet.
Ben sol kolumdan destek alıyorum şahsen sandalye koluna. Ama sağ kolum komple masada.
Benim ikisi de full masada.
Ben nasıl o adam gibi oynuyorum? Ferit oturuşuna adamı şey dedi.
Bu arada sağ bir sen o adam gibi oynuyorsun. Harbiden öyle oynuyorsun.
Hakikaten öyle.
Sen bak
Ama
böylesin bak.
yüksek ihtimal o da bilekten oynuyor. Ondan yani. Tam ben de bilekten oynuyorum.
Bende masa yok.
Ya Ferit o kafa hareketini amına koyayım onu ne zaman yaptın?
Helal oğlum Redgar lan. Gerçi ekolar tamam sakinim. Ben bonus roundlandım. Bilek ayrıcalıktır herkes oynayamaz.
Aynen öyle. Aynen öyle.
Buna zor derim. Buna zor derim.
Batu bilmezler Batu bilmezler.
Something we never really talk about that much anymore. Having a double healer, so they're going to be able to get right back up.
Oğlum asıl soldan oynamak kondisyon ister amına koyayım.
Hakikaten omuzun ağrımaya başlıyor
Hani
abi.
neden kendimi yorayım anladın mı Ferit? Sadece bilekten abi böyle.
Ama
Rahat
delikanlı
rahat
işte
amına koyayım.
delikanlı oynayışı koldan
Ya
oynar.
ne delikanlısı abi öyle bir
Kardeşim
şey
emek
yok.
vereceksin, ter akıtacaksın. Orospu Sami.
Orospu de bana.
Allah Helal Nets. Helal oğlum.
Mousepad'in %95'ini kullanmıyorum. Abi israfçısın işte Batu.
Artı bir. Hayır abi o israf değil. Yüksek ihtimal ne yapıyor biliyor musun sonra? Ters çeviriyor onu tersini de kullanıyor.
Al
Ben öyle yapıyorum.
Ultimately again for Gambit, not too much of a problem. Single player lost.
Senin şeyin kaç Sami? Sensin.
Now is where things need to change.
1.1 abi. 400 DPI 1.1.
Granted again it was a somewhat close round. But Gambit managed to
Volar istediğin yayın kutlu olsun. Çok teşekkürler.
Most definitely. I'm already seen
Bana bayağı yakın bu arada.
Pretty hard in this round. He's bought full shields and
Al vaktim olmuyor yapamıyorum o yüzden. Tamam kral. Yani niye kendini zorunda hissediyorsun? Vaktin olunca yaparsın.
He does spray right away though. And because he's not catching anyone off guard. Oh my god, they're trying to spray back through. You absolute psychos. They're using the sheriff and tagging him up as well, but he's not deterred. He still wants to fight the recon.
Hadi lan şu bonuslan ne olur lan ne olur lan ne olur lan.
Gambit destroyed instantly.
Bak bu bonusu alırlarsa bitti ya. Maç direkt bitti. Finalde Gambit.
The drone will actually clear a lot of that space out. So everything they almost set up in this round was that okay, we've taken all of this.
Az önce Burak fark etti mi Gambit tutuyordu kanka? Burak
evet, Burak Kürü'yü saldın mı?
Saldım abi. Now if we see someone push B and die to Redgar again, I'm going to be pretty upset.
Güzel. Helal
Bana
Chronicle.
mesela böyle demiş olsaydı ben bırakmazdım bak.
4v4.
Bak totem yapıyorum.
Onları çekiyorum.
Mazine onu.
It's not really what you want to be facing in a round like this, but it's damn good at breaking walls, so they've got to cross over.
Abi bunu nasıl vuracaklar? Ya of.
completely shutting down Gambit's attack. The spike on the floor.
Niye A ya? Niye A ya?
With that big gun in hand, he's down to 7 HP, but I don't think he's gonna get punished. Redguard, the last alive.
Big gun diyor ya.
Dog in hand, and, well, he meets the Odin as well.
Tamam bonus olur. Sıkıntı yok olur. Problem değil.
Gambit yakın close.
Adam rendeledi la kanka.
Yok Kru'yu saldım yok. Gambit'cim botu.
Ha, silah almak için A geldiler. Anladım. Mazino'ya bak 18 vurmuş amına koyayım ya. Hayatında top frag mi olmuş Mazino amına koyayım? Böyle de bir bully'ledim bir anda.
Ooo Rolf abi.
Stephen Curry mi dedin?
Wow. Çok fenaydı. Paylaşmak istedim.
Hadi oğlum Gambit.
He's gonna just about get it up. Oh, this is dangerous. The drone goes up above. It gets the tag and that completely forces them out of main. Sprays back and forth.
Ya Valorant bu değil ama ya.
Tam olarak bu. Daha çok Odin, daha çok.
Mazino 25 canı kaldı. Heal'ları da yok. Ya ha.
Bombayı düşürdü.
4'te 5 alırsın ya Gambit. Hiç sıkıntı yok.
Bombayı biliyorlar.
Net sız ya. Sız şuraya ya.
It's especially bad because Chronicle was the one going back for it with the Odin, so it's really tough to move quickly with that because you need so much setup time if you're going to take a ranged fight like that. And even if you are set up, you're probably going to lose that ranged fight. Especially if it's Nags.
Sızma şekli.
That's the man
Korkuttu.
advantage now for Crew to play with, and only 30 seconds left on the clock. Still a lot of Astra Stars waiting for them on A. They've got 2 stars. Now they're going to clear this position.
Tamam güzel.
20 seconds left. He's going to look to try and play within the smoke.
Kanka bu neydi?
Ama bu yalanlar ama bunlar.
Nothing that can be done here for Shados. He's going to go up above and they're going to spam out the wall almost instantly. Bazino again.
Anti oğlum tamam. Bir sonraki round size.
Ekolar ne bir sonraki round amına koyayım.
White Walkers to have one of those. Cracks that wall right open. 9-7. Crew are looking strong right now, and this is the half that we wanted from them. We didn't want to see them just fall away again like on the previous. Instead, they are bringing the hurt to Gambit. And the
İkinci ne ya? Şu ikinci ne
Yalan
yani?
dolan ya.
wall bangs with the Odins. They don't find anything. Gambit are going to reconsider their strats now with the timeout called coming into their eco.
Yeah, I like the fact that they're continuously trying to challenge on B, and for a lot of the rounds they've been taking that space, but I felt like it's gone a little bit too far now. Like the amount of time, I think it was like 45 seconds was wasted just spamming that wall. They get absolutely nothing for it, and in the meantime, it's not like the remaining members of the crew just sitting there like, well, we'll just kind of chill and wait for them to spam these Odins. No, they're taking that control away. And sure, there was, I think, Def on the other side of the map watching in case they got too aggressive. But it means, like, if you don't get anything and you go for these late round clears, what, 25 seconds they were trying to clear that corner, then they had to get past the utility, which, why would you do that? They're fighting on the other side of the map. And even just the spike being dropped
Güzel yollayın böyle.
was enough to basically end this round. Fantastic stuff from Crew in the way that they played.
Kürü de gitmiyor maç kanka ya.
Diyetisyen varsa bir zayıflama kürü ver.
Kürü maç gidiyor Ferit.
O yapıldı sandım.
O yapıldı mı? Hani körü körüne.
Yok, ilk
Valla ben
yapayım.
Tamam ben vallahi bilmiyordum abi. Özür dilerim yaptığım için. Allah da kahretsin beni. Espri yaptığım için.
Para kürü geldi.
Elinin kürü geldi.
O da yapıldı Burak.
Evet, yok olmadı o. Kürünün yanında yaşlayanlar abi. O da güzelmiş. Kürüyle yatan şaşı kalkarmış.
Kürü sözü tavuk.
Spraying away and keeping them out of B main for the time being, but there's nothing to stop them going into middle. Starting to make their way up through here. Market door closed. Very conscious that they've given up that control. Crew will allow the every now and then just to keep them at bay. And it's going to be a slow push into B main as well. Coming out.
Tamam maçız. Ama ekoyuz ya. Maçız ama ekoyuz ya.
Hadi bir ucuzlu ya.
Alırsınız ya aynen ucuz şu hadi.
Ucuzcu.
Kuru fasulye.
Kızım bayağı kopardın, niye öyle oldu?
Boşluğuma geldi amına koyayım.
Ya bırak da silah sen de. Oynadığın silaha bak ya.
Onu iyi tuttun ağzında Hasan. Ben o küfür anladım.
Yok lan, küfür etmeyecektim.
A çıktı da sanki Hasan.
This economy, another prime gaming flawless this time in the hands of Crew.
Ya yeter chat yeter ya. Komik değil abi.
Tamam yeter yeter.
Nasıl komik biraz önce yarıldım Ferit
Değil
amına
abi.
koyayım.
Didn't work out for the other side when they were using it.
Oh, they just didn't use it right. Just gotta look at
Have
Mazzino.
you got a guide out that anybody can look at?
Yeah, we'll work on that. I'll sit down with Mazzino after this and
Ferit Kürkaya hayır olmadı. Olmadı.
I knew that was going.
Yeah, guard 11.
Tamam Gano atmaçız.
Recon's a little dangerous for Nags. He was
Let's
blind
go.
up, so he can't destroy
Hadi
it.
oğlum,
Now he's
Gambit.
spotted. Time to use that dash up and great early utility coming out of Gambit. Just a burrow.
Ah
No,
ya.
Nags, run for your life.
Yakalamışlardı.
Dangerous.
I think they've realized as well that they can get mid control relatively easy.
Ya kanka şimdi tarayacaklar smoke'tan, ölecek Gambit'ten biri amına koyayım.
The thing that's been a bit weird for me so far
Bak.
is that Gambit put little to no pressure on A at all. Like we haven't
Defo kaldı. 39 can kaldı ki.
really seen them challenge just for
Geliyoruz, okşa hemen.
look how much control again is there.
Oh, if they get tagged by
Okşadı.
that recon, it's all over for them. But luckily they won't. 39 health was left on Defo after just a spam from a Phantom. Thanks to that drone, Mazzino is having one hell of a game. Honestly, his utility has been on point thus far. Another tag coming through as Nats hits 30. And they are really being
Bir anda koşun, bir anda koşun işte ayağıma.
But they're walking right into Nags, who's having
O ne
one
lan,
hell of
gördü
a
mü?
map. Over on the
Yoksa
previous,
drone'u
yet
duydu.
to really reach that form again, and this drone
Abi hayır. Bak gene
Smoke
bak
gir,
bak
aynen.
bak. Anca sumo atar yine amına koyayım.
He'll just back off now. Oh, he actually can't make it through.
Oh, they know Delzik is there. They know he's hiding in the
Abi
smoke.
main var, main. Main'e ölmesi lazım. Hadi Redgar hadi. Ya Redgar.
Redgar.
Abi yok, gelecek, bir saat oldu gelecek. Heh.
The timing eventually works in his favor and it's traded out into the 1 vs 1.
Oğlum 100 HP'm var. Bir mermi.
Allah
seni kahretmesin
Nice lan.
Close out the round. You said he was a little bit quieter in this
Lan
map.
bir mermi.
Needed him the most. He'll put an 11th on the
Noxet
board.
diyorum ya.
Someone took their knife out and ran. I don't know if they
Replay'i göstersene,
misread the
short'a mı bakıyordu
situation,
amına
thought
koyayım?
everyone was dead, ran out of
Allah aşkına
ammo,
biri
something
gösterebilir mi?
happened, but my God, Crew are
Redgar
now
short'a mı
over
bakıyor?
Nugget'ten izletecek ya abi. Nugget'ten izletecek.
Nugget'ten izletecek.
Tamam, görürüz yine sıfat metre
far, like I said, this map rather hasn't reached the same form that he did over on Breeze. Now
So low.
Kankası yok. Cem'in öbür tarafına
closing out
bakıyormuş ya.
this round, putting
Evet,
11
Cem'in
on
diğer
the
tarafına
board.
bakıyormuş.
Crew just 2 away from map 3 here in the
Çevirememiş.
semifinals. It's so close
Uf
they can
ya.
almost taste it.
And this is starting to remind me of old
Abi o
Gambit attacks.
bak bu roundu Redgar'a yazarım bu arada. Çok geç geldi ya main'de, hala shit basıyor amına koyayım ya. Sana zaten bakmıyor ki adam. Seninle alakası yok yani.
He's already just taken that control because he hasn't had to fight for it in the entirety of the map. In fact, he did so much damage even in the last round just by keeping that position held. It makes things so much easier for the rest of
Ne
the
güzel
players to actually
şerifmiş
push
lan bu.
out. This
Revolver
time
gibi.
again,
Çok güzel o ya.
Bravo,
Ben
hoşuma
çok
gitti.
beğeniyorum. İnce ya.
Gambit really running out of ideas here by the looks of it.
Arkadaşlar tamam,
Round
kürü
on round,
esprisi
the
istemiyorum.
same
Tamam,
spot is
yeterli.
pushed and success
Güldük, eğlendik.
nowhere in sight. Close shock into the pink. The SMG is
Sesi var
trying
şeyde Sun.
to lead the charge around these
Forslamış
corners,
mı?
but it's all
Yok,
just pressure.
fight
They look to
almışlar.
move back to the A site. They've had Redgar holding this for most of the round. So they know that nobody is at least pushed up on A, that the info isn't there to play with. Redgar takes a step
Ya
back.
çok belliydi ya,
pops down
round'un
smoke,
başından
no pressure,
itibaren.
sure.
Kürün böyle domine edeceğim.
Ben
domine
bir şey diyor. Try and use to give them an opportunity. They faked this in a little bit to A and did actually manage to pull a couple of rotations. This leaves things a little bit vulnerable, but bypassing through into this B site is going to be very difficult. Especially again with Mazzino just popping. 4 kills already.
Mazzino hayat life game atıyor kanka.
Coming through B. Mazzino, he wants this ace. He wants to close
Kaç
this
kaç
out
vur ondan.
single-handedly.
Kaç. Smoke'tan vur ama.
He
Smoke'tan vur
can't
ondan.
quite get it, but still a fantastic
Ege.
round from him
Üçüncü map'e
again.
gider. Üçüncü map'i de biliyorsunuz. Kürü alır abi.
Yarı bay yapmışlardı bir de.
Üçüncü map peki split mi? Yok değil, bind. Bir daha split olsaydı kopardım ya. Bak.
Bak nasıl elini o.
Ne kadar çok.
Ne güzel lan.
Oğlum bebele maçı olursa eğer seneye biz de böyle yapar mıyız lan?
Aklıma direkt o geldi. Sen benden de olursun abi muhtemelen.
Yani siz yapar mısınız?
Yaparız.
Tabii.
O ne? Bir can kaldı. Şeydos. Armor almamış bir şey dosya. Niye öyle öldü amına koyayım?
They came so damn close to doing it, but Gambit will survive into the late round. A minute 10 on the clock. The attackers have been short on ideas. It's been constantly mid to B. They've tried to throw in fakes, but so far they have found it impossible to crack the code as Crew continue to have an iron defense.
Yeah, and I do worry that it might just be that lack of a true entry. Not having that. This is why we don't really see no duelist comps, because it becomes very difficult to actually find a way into the site if your initial bait ideas and your utility is not really working out for you. There's no brute force option for Gambit. And again, we're seeing these slow takes, 35 seconds. As of right now, they have mid.
Yeah, and even then, it's contested quite heavily. Kesnet gonna just dismiss out of there. A little jump to make sure he catches it. Rez coming through. Does Kesnet want to get aggressive on this? Yes, he does.
Lan Kesnet ne kanser oynadın, adamları kanser ettin ya.
He's harassing them in the back lines. 20 seconds left as they make their way forward. Up goes Nags. No knives connecting.
Klaus bitirdi ki Klaus.
Going huge. The Nano keeping them back.
GG.
And this is already done.
Son map'e gider.
Son map Gambit.
Hadi bakalım. Otur teşekkür ederim. Ali Alti teşekkür ederim. Aktif Provalis kullandım. Bir tık acıtıyor Brex. Bir tık acıtıyor ama güzel kulaklık. Ses kalitesi bayağı iyi. 7 12. ayın kutlu olsun. Çok teşekkürler. Çok sağ ol. Evet, son map'te gene birlikteyiz. Merhaba.